Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching Greenwave TV, alternative media television. There's of course a lot in the news today. We come off of a historic filibuster by Senator out of Kentucky, Ron Paul's son, lasting some 13 hours on the Senate floor yesterday, contesting what it means and the usage of perceived armed drone strikes on American soil here in the United States of America. In addition to that, I reported on a slew of North Korean propaganda that hit the wires early this morning, and what that means and how we interpret that at this given point in time. Now, I think a lot of it is just that. I think it's propaganda. I think it's being used as a distraction, and I don't think it's a coincidence that ties in with Rand Paul's historic event yesterday, which in my opinion really rused and really got the attention through live television and mainstream TV. I myself was watching this on C-SPAN much of yesterday, but it wasn't just me. It was the average Joe, the average American that couldn't take his eyes off it. And I've been getting a lot of emails lately asking me, Christopher, what do you think is happening? What should I do? Should I leave the country? Should I stay and fight? How do I contest the establishment? What can I do? And how can I be proactive to fight this tyranny? And I think the honest to God answer to that is there is no easy answer. We're doing everything we can to fight the machine and to fight mainstream propaganda and to fight the mainstream media through the media that we're putting out to the public. And it's not just me, it's not just you, it's not just alternative media television or AM TV, it's literally thousands, tens of thousands of people, websites, blogs, etc. In community meetings at your local courthouse, or your local city hall, or meetings with your congressman, or phone calls, etc., which I think are changing things and provoking positive change for the future. But that still doesn't mean, in my opinion at least, that we are a little bit late to the party here. And what I mean by that is I don't think that there's anything that's realistically going to stop the financial collapse ahead of us, which I think it's centered around. Now remember, I was a Wall Street guy for years before I broke off and got into the business of liberty and doing what I'm doing today. And the reason I left that business, the reason I left that really in a lot of respect cushy job and a cushy career was because I could see what was coming. And in 2008, I went to my friends and family and the people that I loved, and I told them to get out of the financial market. I told them literally weeks before the crash in 2008. And I had tears in my eyes because I knew that the people I cared about and the people that I loved were about to be hurt. And it wasn't just the people in my life. It wasn't just the people that I cared about in my city, in Phoenix or Scottsdale, or even my clients at the time. It was the entire country. And it wasn't just the country, it was people all over the world. People that I didn't even know, and many of you which I will never know personally. And I wish I could know and meet all of you, shake all of your hands around the world. So I do not think that there's anything that's going to stop the financial calamity ahead of us, because in my opinion, they are blowing the biggest bubble that we've ever seen in the history of man. And I think it will be the reason for the modern day fall of Rome and fall of the United States. Every great civilization in history and every fiat currency not backed by something physical, something real or tangible, has always failed. And that's what we have in the United States today. So it's really more of a question of not what's going to happen. I think, at least in my opinion, we already know what's going to happen. It's a question of timing and a question of when. Now, of course, I don't know when. Nobody does. And anybody that would honestly look you in the eye and say that they do know is lying to you. And I would run away from them as far and as fast as I can. But what I do know, the proactive things that we should be doing, and I very much view this as the modern day civil rights movement. The fact that there's all these authoritarian controls on the internet, there's a threat to organizations like mine that are putting out alternative media. I question all the time, how much longer will I be able to do this? How much longer will I have a platform? When there are single companies like Google, that literally control and monopolize all information on the internet today. And of course, the federal government is influencing that change and those control measures as well. So I don't have the timing. I don't know when it's exactly the ball is going to drop. But I do know, at least in my opinion, what I think is going to happen. And it's something that I feel so passionately about that I've actually taken it into the real world. And I've been doing this for much of the last 3-4 years, bringing you and bringing our community these videos and doing my best to try to get a message out that I really believe in, that I think is for the benefit and is for the good of all people. Does this mean that you should leave the United States? Because what I also see coming is war. I think we're already at war. I believe that world war has already begun here in the United States, just like it took Vietnam 10 years before the history books and people to really recognize it as a war. I think that the next great world war has already started. Does this mean we should get out of the United States? You know, we read reports about FEMA camps. There was a document that leaked from 2010 that leaked a few days ago that's been reported in the alternative media. It's very scary. It's basically telegraphing to the American public that President Barack Obama is going to jail political dissidents, throw them in concentration camps, just like Franklin Delano Roosevelt did during World War II to Japanese Americans, not too long ago. So for people to say that this can't happen again, you are honestly living in a hole somewhere. You're the crackpot. You're the person that honestly, in my opinion, is wearing the tinfoil hat. Because those of us that are educated, that actually understand what's happening economically, and I understand that at a very real level, having been, studied, worked, and lived in finance for over a decade, having been educated at the finest private schools that money could buy. I lived in Washington, D.C. for years. I saw how that system works. I know these people well. I know how the government functions. And I realize, and I'm fully aware, that there are many corrupt individuals at the very top of our government system here in the United States today that are not only ripping the people off, but they're willfully doing it, and they're orchestrating the largest financial collapse we have ever seen. It's a big reason why they've transferred trillions of dollars of wealth from you, many of you baby boomers watching, and into their pockets, while they bankrolled the bailouts on your back, because they're concentrating assets, they're concentrating wealth before the ball drops, before war. It's why President Barack Obama bypassed Congress and put forth dictatorially the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. It's why they're readying internment camps as I speak and deliver this video. It's the same reason that it's unfortunately only a few people even raising a voice or doing anything like Rand Paul did yesterday, trying to raise the alarm bells that there's something wrong with the president exercising power out of due process of law to murder American citizens at a coffee shop or a cafe if they're considered enemy combatants. I mean, think about this. How do they classify that? How do they define that? And is there not something tremendously wrong with that? But I believe in what I'm doing, and I know that I'm on the right side, that I'm on the side of goodness. And honestly, that guy up there, he's got my back. So do many of you. But I want you to know that I also have yours. I'm Christopher Green. Please get this video out to as many people as you can. Subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and click our links below and support our sponsors. Hard-hitting and in your face.
Do you have any food reserves in your home right now? How long could you provide food for your family if the food supply was cut off? A month? A week? 3 days? Wouldn't you feel better if you had the necessary reserves? Have you ever noticed that the more advanced we get, the less prepared we are? Many things that defined life only 100 years ago are so convenient today that we don't really think about what would happen if that convenience were gone. Consider how we get our food. We just go down to the grocery store and grab a few things. But what if something happened that interrupted the food supply to the store? How long would it take for the shelves to be wiped out? What would you do? How long could you and your family survive? You know, for all the other important things in our lives, we have a variety of professionals, from mechanics to doctors, to help cover our bases. Why don't we also have a food professional? Food is our greatest dependency. Yet most of us find ourselves unprepared for the uncertainties that lie ahead. Why take chances? Why not do something about it? You've already taken the first step. Keep moving forward with this tour, and we can help you put a plan together and even show you how to get your food for free.